Thank you all for coming. This is so wonderful, and we have a lot of great Montgomery County citizens in this room. We have people from League of Women's Voters, the Montgomery County Taxpayers Association, the Maryland Taxpayers Association, Keep Damascus Rural. We have leaders from the Chinese American community. We have Montgomery County Young Republicans, Teenage Republicans. We've got the Black Republicans of Montgomery County. I don't know who I've left out. We just have everybody. We have people from the Women's Republican Federation, even though in Bowie they now have a gigantic statewide convention or something coming. We even have some people from that, and I hope I didn't miss any of you, but this is a great group of people. And thank you very much for coming. I'm so very honored by the people who introduced me. My daughter, Liza, who I'm every day so unbelievably proud of you. And at such a young age, she's already a great American. She has spent a lot of her time confronting her teachers without fear in high school and in college when they politically misbehaved. And I'm just glad I was out of the line of fire. And I was worried about the teachers, not my daughter. And Linda Sillin, who I asked her to come up because her great and caring heart touches everything she touches, from the communities she's working with, from the charities, from her church, from even politics, and I can't imagine anything better. Kathy, thank you for coming all the way from Westminster. Kathy is my kindred spirit and has been my confidant very often, and I don't think you even know that. So I kept that to myself. And very often, she's very quietly the wisest person in the room. And then Ami, thank you also so much. I asked Ami to introduce me, even though she didn't know me all that well. And I asked it because she ran a campaign with such class, such integrity, such intelligence, and I knew I wanted my campaign to be like that, so I asked her. And Ami, every time I saw you in public, I was proud that you were my candidate. It's going to be a great campaign. It already is a great campaign. This is such a fantastic afternoon. I can't believe it. So it's already a great campaign, but I have such great support from not only my friends, but my family, from my loving and enormously talented wife, Sharon, who I hope you've had a chance to meet. We got Sharon's boyfriend, who is Liza's boyfriend. At least I didn't call her Crinkle, which is our cat. Ian, with the same name as my son. You can see that's going to be a problem for me. And he's a good Republican boy. And he's very, very, very capable. So that's going to work out fantastic. And you know what else is great? A Republican is going to win District 2 this year. So. With Hogan in the governorship and somebody on the county council as a Republican, will have some balance, which we needed so badly. So why am I running? Well, my cold stone sober reason is because Montgomery County is off the rails, and I have some interesting background that might be of service and might be of help, and it was discussed by some of the people who introduced me. That's my cold stone sober reason. My real deep down personal reason is I am so fired up to change the narrative of Montgomery County, to change the story of Montgomery County, that I already spend every waking hour either working on this campaign or just learning what I need to know to be a good council person, because it's a lot more than giving speeches. And it's every minute, because I just can't wait. And it's a little crazy, because I haven't even won a primary, much less an election, but I was a coach for a lot of my years, and I think that's where you get your unrestrained optimism from. you put your kids out there and you just expect great things to happen. So that's the real reason I'm running. We've got to change the narrative. So many people in this room have been working so hard to just move the needle a tiny bit or just get ignored the entire time. And the list of battles is getting so long that it sounds like a great war. We've got the Battle of Lightonsville, we've got the Battle of Westport, Avery Road, Damascus, Clarksburg, Antietam. That might be a different war. We got the property tax offensive, we got the Transportation Authority sneak attack, and so many people in this room. You guys can give yourselves a hand because you worked so hard on all of this. So what's going on? Kind of in two things going on here. One is our elected officials and even the department heads are getting to a point where they're so detached from the interests of the ordinary citizen, from the taxpayer, from the business person and their employees. They're so detached, and then they're so closely aligned to political agendas and to special interest groups who become on the inside of the process, whereas the ordinary citizen gets shut out of the process. And it gets to a point where nobody is looking out for you. And that's the one thing. The second thing is we have out of control spending leading to out of control taxes. And when that's not enough, we have out of control desperate rush to increase the tax base, which leads to out of control growth, which disrupts community after community after community with overcrowded schools and overcrowded transportation. And the amazing thing is, we're still behind. We're losing ground. We've had shortfalls every year the last 8 years, and they've totaled $3.3 billion. After all of this, more tax base, we still have some shortfalls. I went to a forum in Germantown a couple of weeks ago with Leggett, and Leggett is explaining the situation of the county, and his last words were, "We're out of options." We're out of options. He's got 2 more years. I know he's not running again. He's saying we're out of options. After all this, that's what out of control spending and political agenda does to a county. So I'm not sure I'm telling you anything you don't already know, but I'm telling you that I'm here to help with that. I understand that. And I've unbundled all that into like 6 priorities, and you'll be tested next week on that. I'm a teacher, so you better study. And they're not my priorities, they're your priorities. I've been working out in the field and in all the civics groups and things that I know what the priorities are, and from you guys. And the funny thing is, we have 2 people who come and clean our house every 2 weeks. And they saw that poster on the ground, and she said, the woman said, are you doing a project? No, I'm running for county council. And she goes, oh, good, well, blah, 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 blah. And she ran through my 6 priorities. I'm like, I don't have to run if she runs. And then she added a 7th one, the sanctuary thing, which affects her business so much. But I had 6 of the 7, that's not too bad. So I guess I need a longer poster. So priority 1 is putting citizens back in the driver's seat. And what I mean by that is giving not only a voice to people whose interests, again, the tax, you know who you are, you're all in this room, whose interests have been so long dismissed or even viewed with alienation, and also an equal seat at the table in policy decision process, even the budgeting process. Yeah, you guys should be involved in the budgeting process. Right now, when MCPS puts together its budget, it has people from the unions and people from the departments of education. That's not a negotiation. that's a conspiracy. I think politicians have said this before, so I want to say this clearly. I want to be transformative in this area. I want to write statutes so that citizens commissions and committees have real influence. They meet from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. They have time to go back to their communities and constituents to talk about it, get feedback, come back, and continue with their effort. And at the end, they have a say in the final decision, all the way from beginning to end. We have an amazingly unique pool of motivated and competent citizens. We don't need elected officials who think they have all the answers. Together, in fact, we can get two of these priorities knocked out, because a long-term comprehensive budget, which is so badly needed, and a common sense growth policy is perfectly tailor-made for citizens. In Buffalo, they wanted to have a 25-year growth plan. They had 242 public meetings. They weren't public meetings like hearings where everybody screams at each other. Public meetings to discuss how to do it, to make it happen. That's Buffalo. That's smaller than Montgomery County. So that's huge. Second priority, well, fourth priority, because I got three of them kind of out of the way, is jobs, and just we need to have a county that allows businesses, local businesses, to flourish and create jobs. We can't keep saddling them with all the public agendas and government's good intentions. And the perfect way to talk about where it stands right now, we had this $15 minimum wage thing. It passed 5-4 in the council. The 4 were the council people who realized they're running for re-election. If there was no re-election, it would be 9-0. And actually, if there wasn't a term limit that woke them up, it might have been 9-0 anyway. Leggett then vetoed it. And I got to hear twice him explaining to people why he vetoed it. His reasons: it would cost government $26 million. And then a couple of the other council people talk about competitiveness, our competitiveness with Fairfax or Prince George County or whatever. None of them said, what will this do to the business people who work 70 hours a week? Do they want to work 75 hours a week? Are they going to fire some of their employees? Never a concern. Just said it would cost government $26 million. That's the only reason not to have $15. If we could just figure out a way where government could get that $26 million, maybe we could just have a $50 minimum wage. So they don't think of businesses ever. And we're not business friendly. That's why Marriott had so much leverage with Leggett every time it looks like they're going to move. It's why Nestle's comes from California with 750 jobs and puts it in Arlington, which when I last checked is not in Montgomery County. Third, and I won't get too into it, but I do, because it's such a passion of mine that I can waste your time and talk forever, education. It's so important, and I can't think of an area that has been more malaffected by political agenda and special interest groups than education. It's so shameful what happens because the problems are so solvable. They're so important and so solvable. All we have to do is break down the political barriers to the education reform strategies that are working all over the place, all over the country, in our backyards, in DC, Prince George's County. They're doing it for less money in other states. They're just doing it right. And the solutions must include public charter schools and school choice. Has to. And if I could get, there it is. You can't read that, but you can see, it went away. You'll see a blue line that went so far across. That was a charter school right next door, in a county right next door to us, Chesapeake Science Academy. And there it is, that's me. No. What is that, 92? Then you go to 46 for America, the rest of America's public schools. Then you go to 44, Maryland. It's double. They do it by a lottery. They're 70% minorities. Everything they talk about, we don't have an answer to the achievement gap. It's all ridiculous. The answer's there. It's just that we'll do every solution we can as long as it's blessed by the teachers union. And that's the problem. So it's too shameful to even think about, and that's going to start ending. So it's going to include charter schools and public choice and school choice. Second thing, we've got to be allowed to recruit and reward the best teachers. And we've got to be allowed to retrain or eventually get rid of the worst teachers. That has to happen. And then we have to get rid of some of these unbelievably horrible counterproductive policies like you sit down for a test in Montgomery County, you have a 50%. You're at 50%. That's a policy.
Yep.
It's been a policy for 10 years. Of course, we eliminated finals. We have discipline quotas, as if somebody should look at the color of somebody's skin before they help them. I had the most disciplined class in my school all the time. And I used it to help kids. They weren't kicked out of my class. They just got immediate consequences, and it straightened them out. Suddenly they were working, and the achievement gap could close. So we know how to do it. Last, and this will be my last, is I'm running for D2, District 2. I'm going to just start calling it D2, just like I'm just Ed now. And for those of you in District 2, I am going to raise your profile and the profile of Upper Montgomery County. I am keenly aware that without your representative concentrating on you, you have nothing, because all the other 8 are down south. And your current one might as well be down south where his head is at. So I am going to use my position to organize you politically, to make sure the county's resources are turned towards you, to get you appointed to commissions. You will feel like you're a part of Montgomery County. And so those are the priorities. And you guys have been so patient and you sat so long, and so I'm going to stop here. I do want to say, first of all, this is so great to see all these people. I just can't believe how many people are here. And I wanted to say we put together a little volunteer sheet. Please sign up. Please check a few things. I'll be good at not abusing your good nature. And Kathy could say, because I would love you to have to do everything under the sun, and I don't. And I want this campaign to be our campaign. That will be more fun for me, and it'll be better for the campaign. And I do know one thing is my concentration is on 2 things on my website. On my campaign is social media and web is going to be huge. And the second thing is, I'm not going to say too much about it because it's all in here, but I want my campaign to be branded. And so there's going to be some interesting things going on in the campaign, and I hope you guys can sign up. And please donate. That is also immensely helpful. And I would appreciate anything you guys can do. And that's it. And thank you again so much for coming.